folks, this is Jeff, aka 101 Bronson, welcoming you all back to my Al Pacino retrospective review series, episode 4. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at the 1973 biographical drama film Serpico, starring Al Pacino, John Randolph, Jack Kehoe, Cornelia Sharpe, among others, directed by Sidney Lumet. Based on a real-life story of Frank Serpico and a book that was written about him by Peter Maas. This is one of my all-time favorite Pacino films and performances. It's absolutely amazing. I compare the type of performance in this always to Robert De Niro's in Raging Bull, in which you have both actors playing real-life characters and both just really undergo a full transformation and truly become the characters. They just disappear in the role. Anyway, let's cut all the further ado. Let's move into the review for 1973's Serpico. The plot of Serpico, based on real events, goes as follows. Frank Serpico is a young, inexperienced cop who starts out on patrol. Later, he starts to work as an undercover cop who busts all sorts of criminals, but mostly drug dealers and pushers. Since Serpico is a young man living in the 1960s and early 1970s, he lives as one. His image, based on how others look on him, shows him as just a quote-unquote hippie, and the criminals he busts have no idea he's really an undercover officer. Everything is working out well except the money situation. Serpico refuses to accept money as the other officers do. He feels this isn't right and wants to expose the situation. Who he thought were his friends now turn into his enemies when Serpico takes the stand on a grand jury investigation. He continues to work undercover and his life is placed into jeopardy at the hands of his colleagues, becoming a target on the force. It's a very compelling and gripping story and brilliantly acted by everyone involved, but without a shadow of a doubt, Pacino's performance is absolutely amazing and he rightly got another Oscar nomination for this performance, but alas, as will be the case many times, he didn't pick up the win. Now honestly, for me, out of all the times that this happened, this instance hurts the most, as I truly feel this is a one-of-a-kind, amazing and moving performance. Pacino absolutely disappears in the role and was totally robbed by the Academy, if you ask me. If there's one performance of his in the 1970s that he should have gotten the statue for me, it's this one. Even over his roles in the two Godfather movies and Dog Day Afternoon. It's a real shame. Some trivia: Pacino was so into character during filming and offset he actually really pulled over a truck driver with his fake movie badge and wanted to give him a ticket. Talk about living the part. But no, this is an amazing and moving film. Every time it gets to the end and Serpico is sitting alone with his dog and the credits roll with the beautiful music playing, I feel like crying, honestly. An inspiring and moving masterpiece, this film, in my opinion. Director Sidney Lumet, who is one of my all-time favorite directors from the films I've seen of his so far, does an excellent job directing this film in a raw and gritty manner like a lot of films in the 1970s. Sadly, they just don't make them like this anymore. It's absolutely amazing. I can't praise it enough. The film got praise upon release and was also a big success at the box office. From an estimated budget of only $3 million, the film made approximately $29,830,000. A big success, and rightly so. There's really not too much left for me to say from my end, really. It's one of my favorite movies of the 70s and an all-time favorite Pacino film. This one gets full top marks from me, honestly. 10 stars out of 10. I mean, like I said before, the film personally moved me, and any film able to do that is aces in my book. A definite recommendation to anyone that hasn't seen it yet. I definitely highly recommend the film to anyone that hasn't seen it. It's a absolute masterpiece. You will not regret checking this film out. So there you guys have it. That was a review for 1973 Serpico, a masterpiece in my opinion. 10 stars out of 10. Like I said, every time when in the end, all these reviews will contain spoilers or will always have a sort of disclaimer somewhere. When Serpico gets shot in the face in the end and he's in the hospital and he gets the gold badge, and he is in the hospital, but I feel like crying when we get to the end after he's testified and the credits come with that beautiful music, and he's sitting there with the dog. I just feel like crying. It's such a moving and gripping story, beautifully acted, beautifully shot, beautifully directed. It's aces in my book. I couldn't recommend it more. Anyway, next episode we'll be taking a look at another big blockbuster from the 70s, if you will. Another huge film for Pacino. And a follow-up to arguably the greatest film ever made. And this film competes with it. Next week we'll be taking a look at The Godfather Part 2 from 1974. Once again directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Join me then. And as always, I'm going to leave you stay safe and healthy and keep punching. And keep watching great films, and we'll see each other real soon. Take care.